This is about the professional satisfaction. Which is actually professional satisfaction, one of the lowest indicators here. I think if we look at those social concerns the people do pay attention to, in the past 10 years, unemployment always stand at the top. And also, even for the college students, now we do have a big problem. If you are graduate last year, if you just graduate and 40% of the students cannot find job. So that's a big problem. And in China, the children now is at the generation of a single kid. The parents really invest in their children's education and do expect the future of their kids. And even their personal life suffers not that good, but they still with a hope to kids. So if they put so lot, and then when they graduate from the university, they cannot find jobs. So the frustration is very heavy. So that is a big problem. I think it's a real challenge to the government, and also to I think to the employers like me, those organizations, enterprises as well. The reason is that we are in the stage that when you hire all this single kids generation, basically company culture must be changed. I talked with many CEO and president from the multinational company, and I think many of them are not really ready for working together with a single kid generation, because basically those kids when they grew up, their parents never really seriously treat them, and they always try to please them and respect them, give them space. So when they go to the work, and you're working just like as a boss, and they simply don't like it. They would like you to be a friend at first, and you talk to them very softly, tenderly, and let them be happy. So just like in Google, and they develop so many so-called company entertainment projects. So let people very happy working there. Well, if they're not happy, they will not satisfied with the working environmental. So this satisfaction is not only about the employment opportunity, that's also about the working culture and working quality. So this is, if we compare to this people's assessment to this so-called macro factor, so which means at a state level, which is relatively high. For example, the highest is about China's social international status, one of the highest, and also it's about the possible benefits from the federal reformation, which is also still very high. So people, when they're not satisfied with the current situation, they do expect to get what they want in the federal reformation. So in that sense, if the government say more slogan about to do the innovation and more openness, it still will be got the support from the public. But if we do this comparative study, basically all these bars on this side means more country relevant, and for this side is more individual relevant. Those indicators about indicators in their life. This curve shows importance of what this factors, how it's important in their life, which means in this side, which is higher, the more important, this side is the less important, but this bar shows actual satisfaction level. So basically, people more satisfied with the macro factor, but this is the least important. And for this more important factors, the government not really help very well. So we can see that kind of gap there. So I think that's the difference about if you have an election or not. If you have an election, and you have to pick up those items from this side and try to use it to get the voters, the support. And if you don't have the election, then you just pick the so-called important things in the leaders' eyes, because that's very important, so they pay more attention and put more resource there. So that's, I think, we can see the big gap think what the people really pay attention to is basically about the social issues. I think it's the same thing like in the United States about Medicare, Social Security, unemployment, all those stuff at that side. Well, when we do all those studies, we release the two news media. So that you can see this is with the copy from the news media. And actually, many news media that do leave a special edition for those public opinion polling results. And then those media people always call me and they say, look, we are waiting for your data. If you don't give me data, they will be empty. So it's not only like we try to give them the data, it's create a kind of a market and create a kind of a space there and ready for using more public opinion data. Well, except for those so-called people's their self-assessment about their life quality, but also we are doing more and more government public assessment about government performance. The meaning is that the government invite us or commission us to do the polling, and basically it's how the public react to the government service and the government performance. And if we have a roughly idea about, so basically people give better comments about the performance of government on international policy and economic development, but a much lower assessment, much lower score gave to the social issue, the administration, the social policies. And among the social policy, and especially about social security and employment and Medicare, these three areas got the lowest, and also anti-corruption. The anti-corruption also got a very low score on that. And actually, we have developed a special polling about the performance of a mayor and the governor in China. And so far, we are doing annually, we're doing 30 cities assessment. And the question is, it's pretty tough. Like first we ask them if they know who is the mayor of their city, and also ask what is their reaction to the performance of their mayors on about, for example, do you know the plan of the policy, and also their real performance, and if they are clean, honest enough, or do you know anything about their personal stuff? Means do you know their voice and how they talk about their things, the personal style. And also we have most tough questions like if you are a free voter, you will vote this guy as a mayor for your city. So that we release their result annually. Then we take some example from some cities like Shanghai. The guy in Shanghai, Mayor Han Zheng, he's actually the top, the most popular mayor in China. He also got top. And actually his support rate is increasing. Last year is 76.8% of Shanghainese support. If they are free voter, they vote this guy as a mayor. But not that fortunate for the mayor in Xi'an. The mayor of Xi'an, who is the first secretary to the Li Ruihuan, which is a former Chinese top leader. And the guy, the top year will be 56, but last year is only 41. And it's very interesting that the journalist from Global Mail of a Canadian newspaper last year, the mayor of Taiyuan, who is the capital city of Shanxi, he got a 55% support rate, which is below the 50%. He gave a call to the Mayor Li, which is a mayor of Taiyuan, and said, look, we have a poll result, your support rate is pretty low. And what's your reaction to that? He said, who allowed to do that? And if I'm not allowed to do that, it's not legitimate, And the guy said, look, this is someone from an independent firm. They to do the polling. And the polling basically reflects how the people view your performance. And he said, no, I will not listen to those people. I will only listen to what the leader wants. And the guy published the stories at the Global Mail and some Chinese media, and they translate it into Chinese. So, but we still can see that it's really, even for this kind of a little bit of tough result, we got some media to publish it. Of course, ironically, if the city got the mayor got a high rating, the local media will give you a space. If the mayor's got a low rating, then the Department of Propaganda of the party say no, not allowed to discuss it in this city. But we do have a more national news media, so and especially the internet space. So that's why even that city, for example, the Taiyuan was not allowed to discuss about that, but some Taiwanese still know the result. Interestingly, the first year, we do that is already for 4 years. The first year, the propaganda of the party propaganda department is not allowed to discuss that. But the second year, allowed to discuss 3 days. The 4 years is like 1 week. But the last year, so fully, it's open. So it's basically we legitimate this result.